It's a dark and stormy night. A man named Patrick is sitting alone in his house staring at a small bottle of sleeping pills. He takes a sip of liquor and listens to strange noises coming from the ceiling. Suddenly, the sound of knocking on the door breaks the silence of the night. When he opens the door, he sees a young and beautiful girl looking for shelter from the storm. Reluctantly, he lets her in and brings her a towel. The girl asks him to take her to town, but Patrick says his car is broken and there's no bus running at this time of night. He slowly approaches her and asks why she's wet. She explains that she had been sleeping on the beach when the storm hit, so she had to run. Patrick suggests she get some rest and offers to bring her tea, but she refuses. He sits across from her and offers her some alcohol. She declines again and jokes that maybe he's poisoned it. Then she says she wants to make a phone call, but Patrick says he doesn't have a cell phone and hands her some coins to use the payphone. The girl thanks him for the towel and the coins and wants to leave, but he suggests she stay until the rain stops. The girl, having no other option, agrees. As she heads toward the room, she asks, "Do you live alone?" Patrick confirms and coldly says he used to be an electrician, but after intentionally jamming a screwdriver in the wrong place, he got fired. This scares the girl. At that moment, her eyes catch a necklace containing a few strands of hair. Patrick asks her where she lives. She says she's a tourist staying at a hotel. The man looks at her closely. He feels like she looks familiar. Then he suggests she take a hot shower so she doesn't catch a cold. She's hesitant at first, but finally agrees. She enters the bathroom. A few times she anxiously peeks from behind the door to make sure Patrick isn't watching, but he walks past indifferently. She slowly takes off her clothes and steps under the warm water. At that moment, there's a soft knock on the bathroom door. It turns out Patrick has hung a towel on the handle for her. When she comes out of the bathroom, she sees him preparing soup. Her eyes fall on a jacket that belonged to Patrick's ex-fiancée, a woman who's now married to someone else. He hands the jacket to her so she doesn't get cold while her clothes dry. Patrick asks, "Are you married?" The girl admits she's single and has had a tough life. Then they talk about the places they've been. Patrick says traveling can make you feel even lonelier. The girl agrees and says, "Yeah, especially when you think changing places will help you escape your past. But it only changes the surface, not the pain you carry with you." Then he puts the soup in front of her, but the girl looks at it carefully as if she's worried something might be in it. When he asks, "Why aren't you eating?" she briefly takes her eyes off the bowl and says, "It's still too hot." At that very moment, the sound of knocking on the door rises again. This time, Patrick is clearly startled. He angrily asks, "Did you tell someone to come get you?" The girl, scared, says no. He opens the door, but no one's there. He quickly shuts it and mutters under his breath, "These troublemaker kids always find a way to show up." Taking advantage of the moment, the girl secretly pours the soup into one of Patrick's boots. Her heart is pounding. Suddenly, the storm intensifies and the power goes out. Patrick says something probably hit the cables, then turns on a flashlight and gets ready to go outside to check. That's when he notices the girl dump the soup into his boots. She apologizes for it. Patrick says it's okay and adds that if she wants, she can leave. But the girl offers to help him fix the electricity. While they're working on the repairs, the girl spots a bloody hammer on the floor and a wound on Patrick's back. She worriedly tells him he's hurt and goes to the bathroom to get some bandages. When she opens the medicine box, she sees various earrings inside, including one that belongs to her, the one she had lost. Just then, Patrick walks past the bathroom and she hurriedly shuts the box in fear. Now that she's sure she's trapped, she insists on leaving. Patrick says it's better to wait until the rain stops, but the girl angrily demands the key. He says the door was never locked and she can leave whenever she wants. The girl heads for the door, but when she grabs the handle, she hesitates and decides to stay. Then they agree to play cards to pass the time. In the middle of the game, Patrick says, "Even though I've enjoyed talking with you, I still feel like something about your story doesn't add up." Still, he adds that she can leave whenever she wants. Then they raise their glasses and drink a toast. Finally, she takes a sip from the glass Patrick had poured for her earlier. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blows from outside and the sound of something breaking is heard. Patrick goes to check it out. Meanwhile, the girl hears a phone ringing. She follows the sound and finally finds the phone, which is full of missed calls from someone named Nicole. In the same corner, she comes across the lifeless body of a woman, one who looks eerily like herself. Terrified, she grabs a hammer and tries to escape through the skylight. As she bangs on the glass, blood splatters on her face. She feels dizzy. The drink from earlier is starting to take effect. Patrick returns and sees his phone on the ground. The girl tries to sneak out, but the door is locked and Patrick catches her. He grabs her from behind and they both fall to the floor. Then he tapes her up and forcefully makes her swallow a deadly dose of sleeping pills. He moves the previous woman's corpse and lays the girl down on the bed. In a semi-conscious state, she cuts through the tape with a sharp object and tries to escape through the window, but her hands give out and go numb. Moments later, Patrick starts confessing. He says his first victim was a woman who knocked on his car window one rainy night asking for help, but he hit her with a hammer and killed her. Now it's clear he's a serial killer. The girl eventually collapses on the floor and Patrick carries her limp body into the room, gently lays her on the bed and covers her face with a blanket. A heavy silence takes over the room. He gets lost in his memories, thinking about the first woman he ever killed, who looks strangely like this girl. Suddenly, he notices the tattoo on her body. It's exactly the same as the one he saw years ago on his first victim. When he pulls the blanket back, he sees her head smashed with a hammer. But then the girl wakes up and Patrick falls into a horrifying hallucination. The women he killed years ago now appear like ghosts, chasing him. He runs and locks himself in the bedroom, but an evil force grabs him. When he comes out, he's covered in blood. He tries to escape, but when he looks at the front door, he sees women with covered faces standing there. He walks through them and suddenly sees the first woman he ever killed. At that moment, there's a knock on the door. He rushes to hide in the kitchen. A flashlight beam lights up the house, revealing the corpses of all the women he has killed. Among them, the girl reappears and drags him to the dining table, forcing him to drink the poison-laced alcohol. Suddenly, Patrick snaps back to reality. The girl is still lying lifeless on the floor. Just then, someone knocks on the door. When he opens it, it's just a group of mischievous kids messing with him. But when he looks at his hand, he sees an empty vial. That's when he realizes, in his hallucination, he accidentally drank the poison himself. He bursts out laughing and shuts the door. The sound of his body hitting the floor is heard, and that means Patrick dies. And the movie ends right there. If you noticed in the final scene when he opens the door, it's not raining at all. That means the girl, the rain, and the stormy night were all inside Patrick's head. Everything we see actually takes place in his mind, because he's a serial killer who murdered many women in the past, and now he's haunted by guilt and hallucinations. The girl who knocks on his door isn't real either. She's actually his first victim. The reason? The girl's tattoo matches the first victim's, and at the start of the film, Patrick says her face looks familiar. And that earring of hers, it's among the belongings of the women Patrick previously killed. Maybe the girl is a metaphor for Patrick's conscience, finally coming back after all these years to force him to face his guilt. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Until the next video, goodbye.